Well, I think we're going to have to get back to that bicycle story because I am being told by engineering that they are now ready to introduce us to Teller himself live here on Desert Bus for Hope. Hey, Teller, are you able to hear us? You able to see us? Hey! Excellent.
Oh, sound?
I mean, that's normal.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah, there we are.
Test.
Yeah, we should be able to hear you now, Teller, if you want to give that a go.
I said, that's a pretty fancy set you've got nowadays.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an upgrade from the early days, eh?
Yes, the early days was the corner of a shabby apartment, to my recollection.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, Desert Bus was born in a basement, I believe, and now we've decorated a currently disused commercial space. So we're really moving up in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it still just as tedious as it was?
Oh yeah, the game hasn't changed. Just as much as before, we are driving back and forth between Tucson, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, just as designed, and we are still continuing to learn a lot of life lessons about the value of hard work.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So are you driving towards me or away from me now?
This is our third point in a row, so I'm going to say that's 1, 2, 3.
So
We're driving
backwards?
away from you.
Oh, good. Okay. Well,
Yeah. So
it's nice to have you visiting.
Yeah.
I should say, I believe I've got pizzas on the way for you for tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you
Yeah.
very much, Teller. That's very generous of you.
For while you're breaking down there,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have pizzas delivered, and I would like to offer as a premium
Mm-hmm.
let me just get it out here. One night a room at the Rio, 4 tickets to either a Fool Us taping, which we do in early March,
Okay.
or a real live show for any date in 2020, plus souvenirs.
Okay. Wow, that's very, very generous of you. We're going to double check with our prize coordinator here, but just to double check, that's 4 tickets to
4 tickets,
Yeah.
one night's room at the Rio.
Yeah.
And the tickets are for either the tapings of Fool Us,
Yeah.
which is in early March of 2020, or any Penn and Teller show in 2020.
Okay.
Plus souvenirs. Souvenirs.
And the winner can sort of choose their choice if they want to attend a show taping or a live show at the Rio.
That is correct.
Cool. Well, thank you very, very much. We are going to just double check with our prizes coordinator and make sure we get that set up correctly. Hey, Erica, good timing.
Hello. You first, please.
While they're working on that, I had a couple of questions come in for you from our viewers, if that's all right.
Certainly.
Perfect. There's a couple Desert Bus related questions here. Blue Lotus Designs asks, what is your favorite memory of people talking to you about Desert Bus for Hope that you may have encountered at one of your shows?
It's mostly that people are so surprised by the whole enterprise. It is in so many ways so contradictory to every marathon that people run for a good cause. Since it's not running for a good cause, it's sitting on your ass for a good cause and trying to remain conscious for a good cause. That's your goal. I don't have it more specific than that, but people talk to me about it all the time.
Yeah. We definitely hear about it as well. Like folks will let us know when they've gone to see your live show and they'll specifically wear their Desert Bus shirt and say hi. Penn mentioned it earlier on his call earlier this week as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another one here that's also about Desert Bus, which I think I might already know the answer to, but I'm curious. Did you ever imagine when you were creating this or working on it that creating a Desert Bus itself, the game, would inspire this sort of weird and wonderful thing that we've got going on here?
No, we only thought of it as brutal and vicious satire.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure Penn told you the story the other day, or you've heard it a million times. That this was satirizing the politicians whose idea of a good video game was something tame and in the real world. So we
Right.
decided to create something as tame and real world as possible.
Yeah, it worked. It's very
Yeah.
mundane. It's extremely realistic.
And of course, I'm sure Penn also gave full credit to Eddie Gorodetsky, who was working with us at the
Yeah.
time.
No, we talked about Eddie Gordetsky for quite a few minutes there. That was great. I have a couple of magic questions for you as well, if you're up for those.
Sure. Ask away.
Yeah. What was it like to perform science while hanging upside down on Saturday Night Live?
Perform science?
That's what I've got here in the question. I don't think I've caught this, but was it an act that you were doing at Saturday Night Live where you were upside down?
Yes, we did. We were, I think, probably the best TV appearance we ever did. Was a time when we were on Saturday Night Live, and we came on boasting that we were the greatest magicians in the world and making fun of all other magicians,
Right.
with strange little things like, David Copperfield's had just made the Statue of Liberty disappear, so we had a miniature Statue of Liberty
Okay.
that I went like this, and it was suddenly gone. And there were various other things that we made fun of, and only at the very end did the camera pull back to reveal to the viewer that all of the tricks we had done were accomplished by the fact that we were hanging upside down.
Yeah.
The desk that we were behind was just a facade of a desk hanging in space, and secretly we were as purple as those balloons behind your head, or hearts, or whatever those are behind your head.
Yeah.
We were really red, but we were covered with what's called anti-red makeup, which is it's sort of a yellow color.
Yeah.
When it blends with someone who is about to burst like a glass full of tomato juice.
Yeah.
It makes you look sort of relatively normal. One of my favorite it was one of the greatest nights of my life. It was really one of the greatest moments of my life. Certainly one of the greatest moments of my performing career. I don't mean for other people. I mean for me personally. because what we were doing was so difficult. I mean, there was one move in there where Penn was hanging upside down, and he tossed a light bulb from one hand to the other through a hoop that I was holding. And you can probably imagine how difficult that is.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult right side up, but upside down, it's really impossible.
Yeah.
And Saturday Night Live does not over-rehearse, let me say.
Yeah.
And we had, to my recollection, we had something like a half hour's rehearsal on set. And I thought there wasn't a chance in hell that, all the cameras would get it right and everything would. Well, it turns out, by some miracle of good fortune, everything was perfect. I mean, the camera shots were perfect. All of our moves were perfect. And the response of the audience was so, it was so dramatic. It was almost hysterical. People were, every time we would say to the home viewers, there's no camera tricks here. You're looking at exactly what the audience in the studio is looking at.
Yeah.
In fact, let's ask everybody in the room, are we live? And the whole audience would yell, yeah. And then they burst out laughing because, yes, they were looking at us just from a slightly different perspective.
Yeah.
At the very end of it, Penn, of course, speaks very forcefully. At the very end of it, we went back to our dressing rooms, and we got down and we were just, our hearts were beating, our blood was rushing, and we were in a state of hysterical triumph. We went back to our dressing rooms and began to take off the anti-red makeup.
Yeah.
And because Penn had been forcefully speaking the whole time,
Right.
a whole bunch of blood vessels in his face had burst.
Oh,
And so his face, he sort of looked like W.C. Fields in the latter stages of alcoholism. It went away very quickly, but there was this moment that we went from triumph to, oh my God, this is horrifying.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Oh no.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Well,
So that is one of my favorite things we ever did.
excellent. Thank you very, very much for telling me that story. I'm definitely, once I recover from this, I'm gonna go and take a look at that because I want to see that. We usually haven't gotten a chance to see a lot of Saturday Night Live in the past in Canada because it'll get broadcast on TV, but clips online are usually locked to just the States.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, so it's a little
that's too bad.
trickier for us to see it. I wanted to just bring us back a quick bit, though, to that generous giveaway offer that you threw out there. We
Yes.
have that input into our back end now, and
Good.
we're ready to kick that off. So if it's all right with you, what we would like to do is run that as a donation drive, where we offer it to anyone who donates a particular amount, and we draw a single winner from that. They're our most successful way of raising money for Child's Play.
Great.
So, the only thing we need to get started is an appropriate number of dollars and cents that folks can put in to enter. Usually more than $5, usually less than 15, but can be anywhere in the middle there. Is there any number in that range that might have a bit of meaning to you?
Between $5 and $15?
Yeah, with a cents amount as well, so it's easy to pick out the donations.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
$12.04.
$12.04 it is. That's perfect.
All right.
So we're going to run this as a donation drive. Any donation of $12.04 between now and let's say 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any donation for $12.04 or multiples thereof will be entered to win for this generous prize package offer from Penn, which is, again, if you could just refresh us, it's 4 tickets to either a showing of Fool Us in early March or any Penn and Teller show in 2020. Is that correct?
Any Penn and Teller show at the Rio in 2020, and a room to go with you.
Right.
Go with it.
Yeah, one night's accommodation as well. And you indicated that there was a little bit of a souvenirs there as well.
Yes, we have very, very nice swag bags with marked cards and programs and refrigerator magnets and the like in there that your group will get.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Thank you very, very much for that. We're going to see those $12.04 donations come in real quick now because these are very, very popular prizes on the rare occasion that they've been offered. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Is it all right if I ask you a couple more questions while we've got you here?
Yes, it is. I probably have to leave in about maybe 10 minutes or so. I have a doctor's appointment.
Sure, that's totally fine. We can wrap this up whenever you like.
Thanks for making the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Happily.
A question for you here is, as someone who's so well informed of the secrets of magic, could you share with us a favorite moment, perhaps recently, where you personally felt that sense of magic and wonder that it gives you? So either, I feel like this would probably be associated with either an excellent trick that you were able to pull off, or perhaps somebody who was indeed able to fool you, of that, the incredible feeling that we get perhaps when we see you and Penn perform, and it's like, how did they do that? That's incredible. Like, is that a feeling that you still have at this point? Or?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's, my experience of magic is mostly different, and I think richer than a normal spectator.
Right.
With a normal spectator, you're simply astounded.
Yeah.
Then, if you know a little bit of magic, you're disappointed, right? Because with magic, no good magic trick has a terribly interesting secret behind it. You know, good magic is usually a collection of very dull lies that are all very well disguised so as to create the impression of something impossible.
Yeah.
But when you know a little bit of magic and you go, oh, it was just a thread. The thing was floating in the air just with a thread. You sort of shrug and go, that's not much. But if you know a lot of magic,
right,
then you go, you experience vicariously the amazement of what's going on. And then you experience the incredible wonder of knowing exactly how much art went into the thing that you've seen. And that's an interesting progression. I think that people are not really aware of it. Just a little learning is a dangerous thing, or in this case, a little learning is a tedious thing. But a lot of learning makes it all very interesting. Let me think. Most of my experiences of magic that are really good are on Fool Us. And I maybe it might be that this is partly just because I love the performer so much.
Right.
But there's an Australian woman named Helen Coghlan. She's the second dynasty of a magic family there. Her father was Australia's most well-known escape artist. And Helen Coughlin has been on our Fool Us show twice, and she has fooled us both times.
Wow.
Both times. And the first time was she did 2 tricks. She fooled us with one, and we had to give her the win, somewhat grudgingly. Second time, she did an escape trick. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. I'm talking about, just a very a robust, energetic woman, of middle years, with immense confidence and immense personality and immense address.
Right.
But not an athlete.
Right.
And her challenge was to have me chained up to this sort of contraption in the floor that I would stand on, and my weight would keep it in place, while she was chained up in the same way. And she allowed us to pick any of the equipment that we wanted, so that it wasn't that she was using a special set of things.
Right.
We could pick either set. And she was out in the blink of an eye, and I was just stuck there, and I was so
Yeah.
And our producers said to us after, they said, you really have to go backstage and ask her to explain how this thing worked. And we did, and she did, and we were even more gobsmacked, because I can't recount the method to you, but I will tell you, it's so outside the box, it's so outside anyone's frame of reference, that there wasn't a way for anybody to possibly fathom that.
Wow.
We are often also utterly delighted by people who are, stupendous sleight of hand people. That's what tends to fool us most, is people who are just astoundingly good at card tricks. And we've had a number of people who are on there and quite great.
Yeah, I've seen a couple very good close-up magicians do stuff on that show. Which I believe we talked about this a little bit with Penn, but you've just been renewed for a 7th season.
Oh, I didn't know that was public, but that's.
I mean, it's filming in March 2020, I hear.
If that's the case, I'm very happy.
It's in my cheat sheet that our comms department has put together with before we even spoke to Penn.
Yes.
So it's got to be public somewhere.
Well, okay. I was never given the news that it was announced.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you that Penn and I have been beating our brains out for about 6 months, creating enough new material to do all those things that we do at the end of the shows. Because after 6 seasons with 13 or more closers per season,
Right.
this would exhaust the repertoire of the lives of most of the famous vaudeville magicians if you put them end to end.
Right.
So it's very helpful that we happen to love writing new stuff and adapting stuff in our sort of extreme way.
Yeah, it's a
we
big
we
ask.
just premiered something, by the way. Did Penn
please.
tell you this?
Yeah.
Penn, we just premiered Watermelon Surgery. Did Penn tell you about this?
No, I don't
No.
think we mentioned it at all.
yeah.
Please.
We borrow a piece of jewelry, like a ring, from an audience member, dissolve it in boiling acid, then suck that out with a syringe, have the audience member inject a watermelon, and then we perform laparoscopic surgery on the watermelon to remove the ring, which has now reconstituted itself inside the watermelon. And we did it for the first time Tuesday night,
Yeah.
and it was wonderful. Usually bits that you just put in are just sort of so-so. This was just great. The audience just lapped it up from the beginning.
I mean, you just got an incredible reaction here from one of our entertainers, Jacob Burgess, who's also
Jacob.
a magician.
No.
Working on
No. I am no. Nope.
Well,
Can't claim that.
And what of course is so lovely is that as the endoscope, I think they call it, goes into the little 1/4-inch hole that we've drilled in the watermelon.
Right.
What you see on the endoscope looks exactly like a colonoscopy.
Seeds and all.
Ew.
Yeah, it's really revolting in a sweet way. I mean, I'm somebody who I don't take sedation when I get my colonoscopy because I love to watch it so much. It's like walking into a bright pink circus tent.
I mean, if you're gonna be there, might as well be entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're naturally
naturally curious. That's great, right?
Yeah.
Yes, no, I am, and I really. Oh, you know the doctor,
Right.
the doctor who's doing this will be saying, "Oh, look, there's a little cyst in there. I'm going to zip that right up, but you won't feel a thing because you don't have nerves in the colon. So zip, you know, like, oh, isn't that pretty? How about that?" It's a cause for rejoicing over science because my father, although he survived it, had colon cancer. So the idea that I can go in every year or two and have them check me and and have that as my guard against colon cancer, it fills me with joy.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Like the advances in medical science are pretty incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about one more question and then I need to go.
Sure. Yeah, I've got you. Your final question here today. I've only ever heard about this. I joined the Desert Bus crew after this happened in sort of the initial run. But my understanding is that when you initially tried to buy food for the Desert Bus crew the first time, you ran into a little bit of difficulty as you have just the one name, trying to get them to accept that over the phone for the credit card. Is there another instance that you can think of that's particularly memorable where it was either funny or a bit of an issue that you just had one name or are famous for being a little quiet?
It's the bane of my existence that computers don't know what to do with a guy with one name. I mean, it's true. It's a full legal name. That's all that's on my passport, my driver's license, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yet, if I go to let's say, I'm going to take a plane flight.
Right.
I use NFN, which I like to think of as no fucking name, as my first name.
Right.
When I went in for my Social Security card, my official name on my Social Security card is Unknown U Teller.
Huh. Amazing.
It's a bunch of silliness.
Cool.
All right.
Anyway, I
that's
need to head off for my appointment now. So nice to talk to you guys, and thank you for doing this. It's such a good cause. It just everything about it makes me happy and proud.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, Teller. We really appreciate your generous donation. That giveaway's already raised several $1,000s just while we've been talking, and it's going to raise a lot more up until 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It's such a good way to go about that. That's such a good system for going about that. So it's really nice, and it's fair to even people who can make small contributions. It's great.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Have a good appointment with the doctor.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Teller.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We
Bye-bye.
appreciate you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. And that was Teller from Penn and Teller, who just called in to chat with us for a little bit, first time in a little while, and made a very generous offer of a last-minute prize package there, which is Teller's VIP package. It is 1 night's accommodations at the Rio, 4 VIP tickets to go see any Penn and Teller show there at the Rio in 2020, or 4 tickets to go see a taping of the Penn and Teller Fool Us TV show happening in early March, which I believe is also in Vegas, as well as their VIP gift swag bags, and that's for any donation of $12.04 in the next 37 minutes. That's carried us up. It's getting us all the way up close to $27,000 already. Like, that was thousands of dollars came in looking for that